Hey everybody, how you doing? Dash and Dave here again. Please click that subscribe button and hit that like button. Thank you very much. Alright, let's get right to it. Here is my spreadsheet for the month of September, the first month right prior to the Accept More, Earn More program. Couple of things to point out right off the bat. Over here under orders, we see that I have a job fix and then the number 29. I don't think my lifetime job deliveries was accurate, and it wasn't updated until you completed the next successive shift. So anyway, I noticed that discrepancy and fixed it there. Coming down to the total, I worked 83.25 hours. I had 239 jobs. My total pay was $1,625.30. That equaled $19.52 per hour. I drove 975 miles. I used 75 gallons of gas that cost me $238.97. My dollar per mile metric over the month, $1.67. Coming down to the average job rate, the average job paid me $6.80 per job. My hour after expenses, $13.24. Now September was kind of a slow month. We have to keep that in mind. Here's the numbers for October. October was when I got the Eggman, the 2007 Chevy Cobalt. So we're seeing some difference in the mileage here under the miles per gallon. I changed that to 13 miles a gallon to equal what we saw in September when I was using Speedwagon exclusively. So we'll shift over to that page. Okay, so here we go. Accept More, Earn More. I worked a total of 102.25 hours, completed 295 jobs, brought in $2,080.65. My hourly pay was $20.35. I drove 1,138 miles. The gallon usage was 64.61 gallons, which cost me $209.49. Coming up to the dollar per mile metric, $1.83 per mile, and my average job rate, $7.05. My hour after expenses, $14.74. Jumping to a side-by-side, what can we take from this? Absolutely nothing. September was a completely different month than October. And in fact, the previous 10 days here in October have been rather hit or miss, had some pretty darn slow days. So if those had been, quote, normal days, October would look even better. But like I've said before, if they ain't buying, you ain't selling. On the surface, looking at these numbers, it appears that the Accept More, Earn More program is working, but I am not going to make that call. Again, every day's different, every hour's different, every month is different. Now, as I've said before, I initiated the purchase of Eggman just prior to being notified that the Accept More, Earn More program was coming to our market, so that actually started right before I got the email notifying me that the Accept More, Earn More was coming to my market. So I had already had some subtle strategy changes in place, taking some orders that I normally would not take in Speedwagon as a direct result of the mileage factor on Speedwagon at 13 miles a gallon versus 24 on Eggman. So I was already going to implement some strategy changes that we could effectively call the Accept More, Earn More strategy, taking some lower paying jobs, taking some stacks and doubles that I normally wouldn't to get that money in my pocket during slow times, but essentially remain a cherry picker. So then the question becomes, if I had been a cherry picker like I had been in the month of September with some slight strategy changes, would I have made more if I did not maintain 70% acceptance rating in the Accept More, Earn More program? I'm going to lean on the side of answering that question with a no. I believe in my market, as tight as I believe it is, as balanced as I believe it is, that I've mentioned over and over again, that not being in the Accept More, Earn More program would have some negative effect on your job offers. You know, some of my observations have been is while I've had some stacked orders that have some no tip and low tip orders on it that I probably would have taken anyway under my strategy because I look at those as a whole. On the whole, I am also seeing fewer no tip and low tip standalone orders. I've mentioned this time and time again that I'm seeing fewer and fewer low tip and no tip Wendy's and Taco Bell orders, which, given the way the Accept More, Earn More program is designed to work, I'm not going to have those disappear completely off my app, but I'm seeing fewer and fewer. Why? It's because I'm above 70%, and I am getting access to the higher paying orders in my market, and therefore, versus someone that's not above 70%, I get first crack at those. The people that are below me, they get the Wendy's and the Taco Bell no tip and low tip orders. Playing the accept more, earn more game has not hurt as bad as I thought. It really isn't that hard for me with my strategies and what I'm willing to take and make to stay above 70% acceptance rating. That is the biggest shocker to me once this program rolled into my market. So effectively, I have no choice but to play the game. I said it before, I am scared to go down below 50%, being a super cherry picker and being number 3 in line. I just don't feel that that would be beneficial to me right now in my market. It's going to get cooler out here. It's winter time is coming. The deliveries will ramp up. We'll see what happens then. And something that I've mentioned before, in my market, which I feel is a pretty tight market, you know, a pretty balanced market, the accept more, earn more program kind of feeds upon itself, that if you're above 70% and you regularly get these quote high paying orders in the market, then it'll kind of feed on itself. You got to take some trash here and there, absolutely. You got to do 7 out of 10 jobs. But again, in my experience, it has not been as hurtful as I thought it would be, and it's fairly easy to play the game in my market and stay above 70%. And you know, effectively making the most you can given the market conditions. One of my viewers said the accept more, earn more just rolled into Houston, so it's being expanded. That tells me that Tony and Doordash are seeing the effects of it, and they're loving it. It's increasing their bottom line, and there's nothing wrong with that. Companies make these decisions all the time. And one more time, let's not forget, it was one channel's woo-woo that started this whole mess. You know, don't blame Doordash and Tony for trying to do what they can do to increase the revenue. Blame that one channel that came out with all that bullshit, and they saw the results of that and they liked it. And so they duplicated it with an existing program that was scheduled to end at the end of September, and now it's been extended and pushed out to way many more markets. I think it's here to stay for the near term. It may be here forever. And you know, that might not be a bad thing. If Doordash becomes more financially healthy as a company, that can only help us in the long run. The delivery gig apps are constantly changing. Our demographic is constantly changing. Our customer base is constantly changing. How much they order, when they order. Remember, one more time, we're coming out of 2 years of COVID. The delivery gig apps were in their infancy prior to that. They grew unnaturally. It was an unnatural set of circumstances with the pandemic and the lockdowns, and now they're trying to find their footing without that. It's going to be some pain. We have to understand that. Do whatever works for you. Find out what strategy works for you. For me, right now in my market, playing the accept more, earn more game appears to be working just fine. Do I wish it was here? Hell no. But then again, with the constant changing conditions, maybe this is the best way to go. I don't know. I'm not going to make that call. It is what it is. We have to play the game, or you choose not to, and then you go from there. Alright guys and gals, that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you can take something from this video and put it to use for yourself. Thanks for coming along for the ride, and hope to see you next time.